Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I'm certainly regret I didn't have an opportunity to negotiate a popsicle with the gentleman from Massachusetts. I'm sure that would have been an interesting experience. About as interesting as this experience is in debating a bill which I feel has a lot to do with feel-good politics, a bill that is particularly unworkable, I fear may lead to de facto price controls, and really takes our attention off of the challenge that we face, and that is to increase American production of American energy. As much as members of Congress might like to do it, in over 200 years, I've yet to see the ability to repeal the laws of supply and demand. And so, again, I'm sure the gentleman from Michigan, I know he's very sincere. I know he has worked on similar legislation for quite some time. But when we talk about price gouging in an emergency situation, what are we doing to bring down the price of gas at the pump today? And instead we have a piece of legislation that is going to allow federal regulators, bureaucrats that, according to the gentleman from Massachusetts, appear to be the savior of the nation, to tell us what is, quote, unconscionably excessive, quote, taking unfair advantage, related to an energy emergency to increase prices unreasonably. So now we're going to have a federal bureau to come in and tell us what are reasonable prices in reasonable situations. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, went after Katrina and researched this issue. They can find very little evidence of it. We have unconscionably high gas prices in America, but it has everything to do with a Congress that wants to put its head in the sand and produce no energy. Our friends from the other side of the aisle, the Democrats, since taking over the energy policy of the nation, taking over the economic policy of the nation 18 months ago, have overseen the gas prices that are now 75% higher. They've attempted to beg OPEC to somehow produce more and bring down the cost of energy. Well, if we can't beg them, maybe we should sue them. We've had legislation to sue OPEC. We're going to sue for lower prices at the pump. Well, if that doesn't work, maybe we can tax. Let's tax oil producers. Well, Mr. Speaker, the only challenge with that is once you tax them, they turn around. They put it in the price of your product, and the poor, beleaguered consumer who's going to the convenience store having to decide, do I buy a gallon of milk, do I buy a gallon of gas, he ends up paying for it. I mean, these are policies that are out of the 1970s. President Carter and a Democrat Congress tried them. They failed. We became more dependent using these type of policies on foreign sources of energy. The gentleman yield an additional 30 seconds.
I yield the gentleman 30 additional seconds. Gentleman is recognized.
We've tried these policies. I mean, it's deja vu all over again. What our friends on the other side of the aisle won't do is open up Arctic Alaska, where we know we have half of the nation's proven reserves. Almost 85% of our deep sea energy resources have been put out of bounds. Now listen, we all agree we need to develop renewables. We need to develop alternative sources of energy, but people have to go to work every day, take the children to school every day. This bill does nothing to help them. We need to produce American energy in America today.